At the beginning of the drama, we are introduced to the main female lead, Lu Feng, who is the CEO of a company. She is known as a cold, rude, and arrogant boss, which is why all of her employees are terrified of her. One day, Lu Feng asks everyone in the office to vote for the launch of a new project. Out of fear, all the employees immediately vote in her favor except one female employee, who is absent because she has gone to the hospital to give birth. As soon as Lu Feng finds out, she heads straight to the hospital with lots of gifts to meet her. However, instead of voting, the employee suddenly leaves her newborn baby with Lu Feng for a while. The problem is that Lu Feng has absolutely no idea how to take care of a baby. As a result, she accidentally makes the baby cry even louder. Just then, we are introduced to the main male lead, Ling Rui, a handsome doctor. He gently picks up the baby, and within seconds, the baby stops crying. Seeing him for the first time, Lu Feng is completely stunned. She instantly develops a crush on him. At that moment, the employee secretly takes a photo of the two together because this is the very first time she has ever seen her strict CEO fall for a man. Meanwhile, Lu Feng is talking to her manager on the phone while walking through the hospital. Without realizing it, she enters the wrong room, which turns out to be Ling Rui's office. At that moment, he is changing his clothes. Instead of leaving, Lu Feng shamelessly pulls over a chair, sits down, and starts watching him. Ling Rui calmly walks toward her in a slightly romantic way and politely says that if she's done looking, she can leave now. But Lu Feng has no intention of leaving. Just then, someone approaches the room. To avoid creating a misunderstanding, Ling Rui quickly pulls Lu Feng behind the curtain. His friend knocks on the door and asks if he's inside. Ling Rui replies that he's changing clothes and asks him to come back later. However, his friend suddenly pulls the curtain aside and finds both of them standing together. Feeling embarrassed, he immediately closes the curtain again and quickly leaves. After coming outside, Lu Feng smiles mischievously at Ling Rui and says, "I've already booked you." Then she walks away, leaving Ling Rui standing there in complete confusion, wondering what just happened. Later, Lu Feng visits her father to get permission for her new project. However, her father refuses and tells her that he'll only approve it after she gets married and gives him a grandchild. After returning home, Lu Feng starts thinking seriously. The project was actually her elder sister's dream, and she desperately wants to launch it, but she has no idea where she'll find a husband in such a short time. Eventually, she decides that she'll simply get married first. Then we see Lu Feng attending her karate class. At the same time, she asks her secretary to start looking for a suitable husband. Meanwhile, a cheerful blogger named Ping arrives at the gym while live streaming. She confidently tells the coach that she's the strongest girl there and wants to challenge the best fighter. The coach immediately points at Lu Feng. The moment Ping sees her, all of her confidence disappears because the two of them have known each other since childhood. They were classmates, but they've never been able to stand each other. The match begins, and Lu Feng easily overpowers Ping. Realizing she's about to lose in front of her live stream audience, Ping quickly whispers that they're only acting for the video and asks Lu Feng to let her win. Lu Feng agrees, but Ping suddenly scratches her on the neck. This immediately makes Lu Feng furious, and she ends up breaking Ping's arm before walking away. Ping starts screaming, asking someone to take her to the hospital. As soon as Lu Feng hears the word hospital, Ling Rui immediately comes to her mind. So she personally takes Ping there. However, Ping behaves very rudely with one of the doctors. Just then, Ling Rui arrives and firmly tells her that insulting a doctor is unacceptable and that she should apologize immediately. Lu Feng steps in and tells Ling Rui not to mind Ping's behavior because she's a little crazy. Only then does she realize that the doctor standing in front of her is actually Ling Rui. However, Ling Rui doesn't pay much attention to her and simply walks away. A little later, Lu Feng goes outside to look for him. While searching, she suddenly notices that her neck is bleeding from the scratch Ping gave her earlier. At that moment, Ling Rui walks over and says that her neck is bleeding and offers to treat the wound. The moment Lu Feng sees him, she starts pretending that the injury hurts much more than it actually does. Ling Rui brings her into his office and carefully cleans and bandages the wound. Watching how gentle and caring he is, Lu Feng becomes even more impressed. Without wasting another second, she suddenly asks, "Will you marry me?" Hearing that, Ling Rui is completely shocked. Lu Feng then asks if he already has a girlfriend. Ling Rui calmly replies that he doesn't like sharing his personal life with strangers and politely asks her to leave. But instead of leaving, Lu Feng keeps staring at him from up close before finally walking away. As soon as she leaves the hospital, she calls her secretary and orders, "I want every piece of information about Dr. Ling Rui." Meanwhile, that night, Ling Rui is happily cooking dinner for his family. Just then, His younger sister arrives looking extremely worried and begs him to help her. She reveals that she borrowed 40 million yuan from a company and invested all of it in the stock market. Unfortunately, the stock suddenly crashed overnight, and now she's unable to repay the loan. Hearing this, Ling Rui is left speechless because he has no way of arranging such a huge amount of money. On the other hand, Lu Feng finds out that someone has borrowed 40 million yuan from her company and has failed to repay it. So, she arranges a meeting with the borrower. The next day, Ling Rui arrives at the company and is completely shocked when he discovers that the company's CEO is none other than Lu Feng. Meanwhile, Lu Feng is delighted to see him again. Ling Rui sincerely promises that he will repay every single penny, but asks her to give him some time. However, Lu Feng smiles and says that he doesn't need to repay the money at all. Instead, she gives him a surprising offer. "Marry me." Hearing this, Ling Rui immediately gets angry and firmly replies, "I will never sell myself for money." Meanwhile, Ping arrives at the company with her father and starts creating another scene. Her father, who is actually one of the company's employees, sincerely apologizes to Lu Feng for his daughter's rude behavior. But Ping refuses to leave and insists that Lu Feng apologize to her first. Having no other choice, Ping's father suddenly pretends to feel sick. Seeing this, Ling Rui immediately steps forward to examine him. The moment Ping sees Ling Rui again, she instantly develops a crush on him. Later, Ling Rui is walking through the hospital with his friend when Ping approaches him and asks him to treat her personally. However, Ling Rui politely refuses, explaining that her case doesn't belong to his department and tells her to continue her treatment with the doctor she was already seeing. But Ping keeps flirting with him. When Ling Rui ignores her and walks away, Ping suddenly pretends to fall down. Before she can continue her act, Lu Feng catches her and sarcastically says, "If you're going to act, at least do it properly." She then grabs Ling Rui's hand and confidently declares, "He's my future husband, which means he's your future brother-in-law. So stay away from him." Hearing that, Ping becomes furious, and the two women immediately start arguing over Ling Rui. Eventually, Ling Rui has to step in and stop them. He reminds them that they're inside a hospital and asks them to continue their argument somewhere else. Lu Feng then reminds him about the proposal they discussed the previous day. Ling Rui simply tells her to come with him. Before leaving, Lu Feng deliberately smiles at Ping, making her even angrier. Meanwhile, Ling Rui's friend walks over to Ping and offers to treat her instead, but Ping rolls her eyes and leaves without saying a word. His friend can only sigh and joke, "Two girls are chasing him while I can't even find one." Meanwhile, Lu Feng tries once again to win Ling Rui's heart by giving him flowers. However, Ling Rui gently refuses them and says that marriage may be nothing more than a business deal for her, but it's completely different for him. He tells her that he can never marry someone he doesn't love and firmly rejects her once again before walking away. This rejection makes Lu Feng extremely angry. Soon afterwards, she sends a lawyer to Ling Rui's house to demand repayment of the loan in front of his entire family. Ling Rui becomes furious because he had specifically asked her not to involve his family in this matter. Later, Lu Feng goes to see him, but Ling Rui harshly scolds her. He says that since she was born into a wealthy family, she'll never understand the true value of family or other people's feelings. He accuses her of having no respect for anyone's emotions. His words deeply hurt Lu Feng. After that, both of them become busy with their own lives and stop contacting each other. A few days later, fate brings them together again at the same restaurant. Lu Feng is there to discuss her project with an investor, while Ling Rui has come to meet one of his patients. Even though they pretend not to notice each other, they secretly keep glancing at one another. During the meeting, Lu Feng asks the investor to support her project by voting for it. The investor agrees, but only on one condition. He asks Lu Feng to meet him alone at his hotel room that night. Without suspecting anything, Lu Feng agrees. Later, the man goes to the restroom and secretly calls his friends. He tells them that tonight he'll finally get Lu Feng under his control by putting sleeping medicine in her drink. Once she loses consciousness, they'll come to the room. Unfortunately for him, Ling Rui happens to be standing nearby and overhears the entire conversation. That night, Lu Feng arrives at the hotel room. The investor secretly mixes something into a glass of water and offers it to her. Without thinking twice, Lu Feng drinks it. At the same time, Ling Rui rushes toward the room to save her. When Lu Feng opens the door, he is surprised to discover that she has already used her martial arts skills and beaten the investor so badly that he can barely stand. Seeing this, Ling Rui feels a little embarrassed for worrying so much. The two of them then leave the hotel together. On the way out, Ling Rui tells her that she shouldn't meet strangers alone like this because it's too dangerous. Lu Feng smiles and teasingly asks, "Were you worried about me?" Just then, the drug she unknowingly drank starts affecting her, and she begins suffering from severe stomach pain. Ling Rui immediately wants to take her to the hospital. However, Lu Feng refuses because she has an important business meeting to attend. Instead, she asks him to drive her there. Even though she's in pain, Lu Feng successfully finishes the meeting without letting anyone notice her condition. Afterward, she walks outside, thinking Ling Rui has already left. But to her surprise, he's still waiting there with medicine for her. Seeing how thoughtful he is, Lu Feng becomes even more impressed. Ling Rui then drives her home and takes great care of her. After reaching home, Lu Feng suddenly says she's hungry, so Ling Rui goes into the kitchen and cooks a meal for her. When he returns, he finds that she's already fallen asleep. Smiling softly, he carefully carries her to the bedroom. While looking around the room, his eyes suddenly land on an old childhood photograph. The moment he sees it, he's completely shocked. It turns out that he and Lu Feng were childhood friends. Back then, Ling Rui had secretly liked her. Although Lu Feng came from a wealthy family while Ling Rui grew up in an ordinary one, she had once tried to give him some money. However, Ling Rui refused to accept it. Instead, he kept only a single coin as a precious memory because shortly afterward, Lu Feng went abroad to study. Now, after realizing that the woman standing in front of him is actually his first love, Ling Rui can't hide his happiness. Noticing how messy her house is, he quietly cleans the entire place while she continues sleeping. Later, he gently wakes her up and brings her to the dining table. Lu Feng is amazed to see her perfectly clean house. She shyly explains that she's always too busy with work and never has enough time to organize it. After tasting the food Ling Rui prepared, she praises his cooking and sincerely thanks him for taking care of her all day. Meanwhile, Ling Rui can't stop looking at her with loving eyes. The next morning, Lu Feng finds a note that Ling Rui left behind. It says, "I'll marry you. I'm willing to give our relationship a chance." Reading those words, Lu Feng is overwhelmed with happiness. After all, she's finally about to marry the man she has fallen for. Without wasting a second, she immediately rushes to Ling Rui's house. Meanwhile, Lu Feng arrives at Ling Rui's house. His aunts are surprised to see her there. Ling Rui happily announces that he's going to marry Lu Feng. At first, his family strongly objects. So, Ling Rui quietly takes his eldest aunt aside and tells her the truth. He reveals that Lu Feng is the girl he has loved since childhood. He has liked her for years, but she still doesn't know about his feelings. He also asks his family not to tell her anything. After hearing this, his aunt finally agrees to support their marriage. Meanwhile, Lu Feng excitedly tells her father that she's getting married very soon. Her father immediately starts asking countless questions about the groom. However, Lu Feng simply smiles and says, "You don't need to know that much. Just know that I'm getting married." Her father then asks her to invite the groom and his family over for dinner. Soon, Ling Rui brings his family to Lu Feng's house. The dinner goes surprisingly well. Both families get along with each other, and Lu Feng's father is especially impressed with Ling Rui. Just as everyone is leaving, Ping suddenly appears and tries to ruin everything. She loudly claims that Lu Feng and Ling Rui don't truly love each other. She reveals that Ling Rui is only agreeing to the marriage because he can't repay his debt. Then she declares that she'll never let this wedding happen. Ling Rui remains calm, but before he can explain anything, Lu Feng suddenly grabs him and kisses him in front of everyone. Seeing this, Ping and everyone else are left completely speechless. At that moment, everyone becomes convinced that the two are genuinely in love. Afterward, Lu Feng and Ling Rui officially sign a one-year marriage contract. A little later, Lu Feng's father secretly visits Ling Rui at the hospital. He asks him honestly, "Tell me the truth. Do you really love my daughter? Or are you only marrying her because of the contract?" Ling Rui hesitates for a moment before finally telling him everything. He admits that he has loved Lu Feng ever since they were children and truly wants to marry her. However, he also says that Lu Feng still doesn't know about his childhood feelings and asks her father to keep it a secret. Her father happily agrees. Meanwhile, after hearing about Lu Feng's upcoming marriage, all the employees at her company finally vote in favor of her new project. As a result, the project is approved. Lu Feng feels incredibly happy because she has finally fulfilled not only her own dream, but also her late sister's dream. Soon, the wedding day finally arrives. Lu Feng had specifically told reporters not to attend because she wanted to keep the ceremony private. However, a reporter named Cece secretly disguises herself and sneaks into the wedding. At the same time, Ping arrives wearing a wedding dress herself. She loudly announces that she won't allow the marriage to happen. Lu Feng warns her that if she continues causing trouble, she'll have security throw her out. Just then, Cece secretly steps on Ping's dress, tearing it apart. Ping becomes furious. Cece then sarcastically tells her that she's still too immature for marriage and should leave. Soon afterward, Ping's father arrives and takes his daughter away. Finally, Lu Feng and Ling Rui get married without any further interruptions. The wedding ceremony goes beautifully, while Cece secretly takes photos of the happy couple. That night after the wedding, Lu Feng complains that her feet are hurting. Ling Rui gently applies medicine to her injured feet, taking great care of her. Meanwhile, Lu Feng can't stop imagining spending a romantic wedding night with her husband. However, she suddenly becomes nervous and says, "No, I don't think I can do this." Confused, Ling Rui asks what she means. To ease the awkwardness, the two of them end up drinking together. After a while, Lu Feng rests her head on Ling Rui's lap. Unfortunately, Ling Rui becomes completely drunk. His unusual behavior makes Lu Feng so nervous that she accidentally bumps her forehead against his head and faints. After waking up a little later, she almost loses control and tries to get closer to him, but quickly comes to her senses. Feeling embarrassed by her own thoughts, she quietly moves away. The next morning, Lu Feng immediately tells Ling Rui, "You're never allowed to drink again. I had a really hard time controlling myself last night." Meanwhile, Ling Rui has absolutely no idea what happened after he got drunk. After getting ready, the two of them walk outside together. Ling Rui gently holds Lu Feng's hand, hoping to spend a romantic moment with her. But just then, a new character appears. The moment Lu Feng sees him, she immediately lets go of Ling Rui's hand and happily runs over to greet him. His name is Simon, one of Ling Rui's distant uncles. He's come to help Lu Feng with her company so that her workload becomes lighter. However, Simon also has feelings for Lu Feng. Seeing how close they are makes Ling Rui extremely jealous. That night, Lu Feng carefully decorates their bedroom with a romantic atmosphere. She keeps imagining how she'll attract her husband and dreams about the day they'll even have a baby together. But the moment Ling Rui enters the room, he quietly spreads a blanket on the floor and prepares to sleep there instead of sharing the bed. Lu Feng's romantic dreams instantly fall apart. She reminds him that they're already married and tells him it's perfectly fine to sleep on the same bed. However, Ling Rui politely ignores her and lies down on the floor. But Lu Feng isn't someone who gives up easily. Pretending to be asleep, she quietly climbs down and hugs him tightly. As Ling Rui slowly moves closer, Lu Feng excitedly thinks he's finally about to kiss her. Instead, she suddenly realizes that he's wrapping her tightly inside a blanket so she can't bother him anymore. Once again, all of her romantic fantasies are shattered. A little later, Ling Rui walks outside and finds Simon waiting for him. Simon deliberately talks about all the memories he shares with Lu Feng from their childhood. He even mentions that they used to bathe together when they were little. Hearing all these stories makes Ling Rui increasingly jealous. Before leaving, Simon looks straight at him and says, "I've never hurt Lu Feng. If you ever make her cry, I won't forgive you." At that moment, Ling Rui realizes that Simon is also in love with Lu Feng. Later that night, Ling Rui quietly returns to the bedroom. Seeing that Lu Feng has already fallen asleep, he gently strokes her head and softly whispers, "Good night." Meanwhile, we see that Cece had secretly overheard Lu Feng and Ling Rui talking on their wedding day. During that conversation, they had mentioned that their marriage was only a one-year contract, that they couldn't tell anyone about it during that time, and that they had to continue living together as husband and wife. Cece secretly recorded their entire conversation, keeping the truth about their contract marriage as evidence. Meanwhile, Cece is left wondering what she should do with the recording she secretly made. If she leaks the news, her career as a reporter could skyrocket. But on the other hand, she could also use the recording to blackmail Lu Feng. The next morning, she visits Lu Feng's company to talk to her about it. However, she's extremely nervous. As she's walking inside, she accidentally bumps into Simon, causing both of them to fall to the floor. During the fall, Cece accidentally kisses Simon on the cheek. Realizing what just happened, she turns bright red and runs away in embarrassment. Meanwhile, Simon is completely confused. As he gets up, he notices a voice recorder lying on the floor. He picks it up without knowing it belongs to Cece. Later, inside the elevator, Simon casually turns on the recorder. The moment Lu Feng hears the recording, she immediately realizes it's the conversation from her wedding day about the one-year contract marriage. Without wasting a second, she snatches the recorder from Simon's hand and tells him that she knows the owner and will return it herself. Not long afterward, Cece comes looking for the recorder. Lu Feng takes her aside and makes her an offer. She says that if Cece keeps the secret, she'll give her a permanent job at the company with a great salary. But if she leaks the news, she'll make sure Cece's reporting career is over. Hearing this, Cece becomes frightened and immediately agrees to work for Lu Feng instead. The next morning, Cece arrives at the company for her very first day of work. Wanting to make a good impression, she wears high heels just like the other employees. Unfortunately, she's not used to wearing them and can barely walk. Just as she's about to fall, a young employee reaches out to help her. Startled, Cece accidentally pushes his hand away. As a result, the coffee he was holding spills all over Simon, who happens to be walking by. Simon immediately gets angry. The employee quickly explains that none of it was his fault and blames Cece instead. Cece hurriedly takes out some tissues from her bag and repeatedly apologizes. She also remembers the embarrassing incident from the previous day, making her even more nervous. Although Simon is upset, he chooses not to scold her in front of everyone. Later, the same employee quietly warns Cece to stay away from Simon because she has already annoyed their boss. Cece confidently replies, "Why would I be scared of him? What can he even do to me?" The employee desperately gestures for her to stop talking, but she keeps complaining about Simon without realizing that he's standing right behind her. The moment Cece finally notices him, she turns around so quickly that the bottle of water in her hand splashes all over Simon. Once again, Simon silently endures it without saying a word. After returning to his office, he can only take out his frustration on his soaked coat. Meanwhile, Ling Rui comes to Lu Feng's company after finishing work early. He happily tells her that since he got off duty sooner than expected, he wanted to spend some time with her. Although Lu Feng is secretly delighted, she keeps a straight face and tells him that she's still busy with work. She asks him to go home first and promises they'll talk later. Ling Rui quietly agrees and waits for her. When Lu Feng finally finishes her work and comes back, she's surprised to see that Ling Rui is still sitting there waiting for her. Seeing that makes her genuinely happy. Just then, the office suddenly loses power. Lu Feng immediately calls her younger brother to ask what happened. He apologizes and explains that he didn't know they were still inside the office, so he locked the building before leaving. As a result, Lu Feng and Ling Rui have no choice but to spend the entire night together inside the office. They joke around, enjoy each other's company, and eventually fall asleep. The next morning, an employee arrives and wakes them up. That night, Lu Feng once again tries to get closer to Ling Rui. This time, Ling Rui almost loses control of his emotions. However, he manages to stop himself. Instead, he gently ties her up again so she can't tempt him. He then honestly tells her that he knows she wants to become pregnant before their one-year contract ends. But after the contract expires, they'll separate, and he refuses to let their child grow up without a father. He says he'll never abandon his own child. Finally, he tells her, "Until you truly love me, don't expect that from me." Even after hearing those heartfelt words, Lu Feng stubbornly replies, "I hired you, so you'll do whatever I tell you." Those words deeply hurt Ling Rui. Unable to tolerate it any longer, he leaves the house and returns to his family's home. Since he arrives so late at night, his aunts immediately become suspicious. The following day, Lu Feng also goes there. After all, she has to make peace with her husband if she wants to keep their marriage going. While Ling Rui is taking a shower, Lu Feng quietly sneaks into the bathroom. Outside the door, his curious aunts pretend they don't want to listen, but they can't stop themselves from eavesdropping. Inside, Lu Feng deliberately teases Ling Rui, making playful noises just to embarrass him. Meanwhile, Ling Rui repeatedly tells her to keep her voice down. That night, the family makes them sleep in the same room. As soon as Lu Feng lies down on the bed, Ling Rui once again spreads a blanket on the floor and prepares to sleep there instead. Seeing this, Lu Feng's heart breaks once again. Meanwhile, back at the company, Cece is struggling to carry several heavy boxes. Simon notices her and immediately comes over to help. Seeing him so close, Cece suddenly starts developing feelings for him. A little later, Simon discovers that the other employees have been making the new employee do all the difficult work. He scolds everyone and tells them not to treat Cece unfairly. Watching him stand up for her makes Cece extremely happy. Later, she privately thanks Simon for helping her. Just then, Simon notices that a large light fixture above them is about to fall on Cece. Without thinking, he quickly pulls her into his arms to protect her. Feeling shy, Cece immediately runs away in embarrassment. However, she soon runs into Lu Feng. At first, Lu Feng quietly walks around her while carefully observing her, making Cece nervous. Then Lu Feng smiles and says, "Don't be scared. I actually came to ask you for some advice." Relieved, Cece listens as Lu Feng asks how she can make Ling Rui stop being angry with her. Cece thinks for a moment before giving her advice. She suggests taking Ling Rui somewhere nice, doing the things he enjoys, and making him feel loved and appreciated. After hearing Cece's advice, Lu Feng happily heads straight to Ling Rui's office. Today, Ling Rui is feeling very upset because he couldn't successfully complete one of his surgeries. Seeing how stressed he is, Lu Feng takes him to an amusement park to cheer him up. The two of them spend the whole day enjoying themselves. They go on rides together, eat delicious food, and have lots of fun. While spending time with Lu Feng, Ling Rui can't help remembering their childhood, when they used to play together and laugh all day. Thinking about those memories fills him with happiness. Meanwhile, back at the company, Simon receives a phone call. He goes outside carrying a bouquet of flowers to welcome an important guest. At that moment, Cece notices him from a distance. Seeing the flowers, she mistakenly believes Simon bought them for her. She becomes so happy that she can barely contain her excitement. However, just then, a beautiful woman arrives. She immediately tells Simon that she doesn't like flowers. The moment Simon hears that, he simply places the bouquet on the ground and walks away with her. Watching this from afar completely breaks Cece's heart. Even so, she quietly picks up the flowers and decorates her desk with them because she genuinely thinks they're beautiful. Later, we learn that the woman is actually Simon's ex-girlfriend. They broke up several years ago because Simon chose Lu Feng over her. Even now, she still holds a grudge against Lu Feng. Because of that, she refuses to invest in Lu Feng's company and leaves. Simon feels extremely disappointed because her investment could have greatly benefited the company. Meanwhile, after spending the entire day together, Lu Feng and Ling Rui return home. Soon after, Lu Feng gets her period. Seeing that she's uncomfortable, Ling Rui takes wonderful care of her, making sure she rests properly. His kindness makes Lu Feng even happier. That night, when Lu Feng asks him to sleep beside her, Ling Rui finally agrees. The two share several sweet and heartwarming moments together. By now, Lu Feng has truly fallen in love with him. The next morning, she wakes up and finds Ling Rui cooking breakfast for her. The couple is happily enjoying their morning when Ping suddenly arrives. She confidently tells Ling Rui not to worry because she'll repay all of his debt herself. Then she'll take him away from Lu Feng. Hearing this, Lu Feng immediately replies, "Who told you we don't love each other?" She continues, "I truly love him. The only reason I used the contract marriage was because I had no other choice. But my feelings for him are real." Hearing those words, Ling Rui is completely shocked. For the first time, he realizes that Lu Feng genuinely loves him. He then turns toward Ping and says that if she still doesn't believe them, they can prove their love right in front of her. Furious, Ping storms out of the house. Meanwhile, after work, Cece walks into the parking lot and finds several thugs beating Simon. She immediately rushes over. Seeing someone arrive, the thugs quickly run away. Afterwards, Cece carefully treats Simon's injuries. While talking, she finally gathers enough courage to confess her feelings. She tells Simon that she loves him. Simon softens for a moment and accepts her confession. Overjoyed, Cece happily kisses him on the cheek. Meanwhile, Lu Feng returns home. To her surprise, Ling Rui has prepared a special birthday celebration for her. However, instead of smiling, Lu Feng quietly walks away, completely ignoring the surprise. Ling Rui is left confused and heartbroken. He immediately calls Lu Feng's younger brother to ask what happened. Her brother sadly explains that Lu Feng has never celebrated her birthday because it is the same day her elder sister passed away. Hearing this, Ling Rui immediately goes out to look for her. Meanwhile, Lu Feng is blaming herself. She regrets hurting Ling Rui because he had worked so hard to prepare the surprise for her. Then we see a flashback. Years ago, Lu Feng's elder sister was deeply in love with a young man. Her dream was to become a professional dancer. However, their father wanted her to inherit and manage the family company instead. Unable to give up her dream, she ran away with her boyfriend. As a result, their father completely cut ties with her. Later, on Lu Feng's birthday, she begged her sister to celebrate with her. Her sister secretly came to meet her. Unfortunately, their father suddenly appeared. Frightened, her sister hurriedly ran away, but before she could escape, she was involved in a terrible accident and lost her life. Back in the present, Lu Feng becomes overwhelmed with sadness after remembering everything. She then opens the birthday gift Ling Rui had prepared for her. Inside, she finds a single coin. It turns out to be the exact same coin Ling Rui kept as a memory of their childhood. He had probably planned to reveal the truth about their past today. Just then, Lu Feng sneezes, causing the coin to fall onto the ground. While she's searching for it, Ling Rui quietly arrives. He gently tells her that she's exhausted and should go home and rest. Without saying anything, Lu Feng quietly leaves with him. Meanwhile, Cece asks Simon to meet her at a cat cafe. Seeing how sincere her feelings are, Simon struggles to tell her the truth. In reality, he doesn't love Cece at all. He has only been pretending and passing time with her. The following day, Lu Feng finally tells Ling Rui the real reason she never celebrates her birthday. After hearing the painful story, Ling Rui hugs her tightly. He gently tells her not to keep hurting herself over the past. Instead, she should move forward and live a happy life. From that moment on, their relationship grows much deeper. Lu Feng sincerely tells Ling Rui that she truly loves him and wants to stay by his side forever. Meanwhile, Cece finally realizes from Simon's behavior that he doesn't actually love her. She asks him directly, "You still like Lu Feng, don't you? That's why you're always around her." Simon honestly replies, "The truth is, I don't love you. I was only playing around." Although Cece is deeply hurt, she still tells him that her feelings are genuine and that she truly wants to be with him. She runs toward him and hugs him tightly. However, Simon gently pushes her away and walks off without looking back. Meanwhile, Lu Feng travels to a village for an important project meeting. Ling Rui accompanies her because they still haven't had a proper honeymoon. After finishing work, the two of them spend the entire day enjoying the beautiful scenery together. Later that night, they return to their hotel room. The atmosphere becomes incredibly romantic, and they finally start getting closer to each other. But just as the mood is perfect, Ping suddenly barges into their room. After finding out about their business trip, she had secretly booked the room right next to theirs because there was no way she was going to leave them alone. The next morning, wherever Lu Feng and Ling Rui go, Ping follows them everywhere. She even spends the evening drinking with Lu Feng inside their room. After Ping finally gets drunk, Lu Feng and Ling Rui quietly sneak into the next room, hoping to enjoy some private time together. However, just as they're about to have a romantic moment, Ping suddenly appears once again. The couple is completely startled. After a lot of effort, they finally manage to send Ping back to her own room, allowing themselves a little peace at last. After finally getting some privacy, Lu Feng and Ling Rui's romantic evening continues, and the two of them finally become intimate. The next morning, Ping wakes up and feels extremely embarrassed after remembering everything that happened the previous night. She realizes she had been unnecessarily interfering in their relationship over and over again, even though they genuinely love each other. Feeling guilty, Ping sincerely apologizes to Lu Feng for all the trouble she caused. She also wishes them a happy married life, and from that day on, the two women finally become friends. After saying goodbye, Ping leaves. Meanwhile, Lu Feng finally learns the truth. She discovers that Ling Rui isn't just her husband. He's actually the childhood friend she used to like. She also finds out that Ling Rui has loved her all these years and has carefully kept the coin she once gave him as a precious memory. Realizing this fills Lu Feng with happiness. She finally understands why Ling Rui agreed to marry her so easily in the first place. Overwhelmed with emotion, the two of them share a sweet kiss. Soon afterward, they successfully complete the company's project. After finishing their work, they even have a romantic photo shoot together before returning to the city. However, after arriving back at the office, Lu Feng learns that her company's financial condition has become much worse. Meanwhile, Simon arranges a meeting with a potential investor and does his best to impress her. Watching them from a distance, Cece can't hide her jealousy. Eventually, she walks over and starts drinking while making rude comments toward the female investor. Offended by her behavior, the investor leaves immediately. Simon becomes furious and tells Cece that her actions have caused a huge loss for the company. However, Cece completely ignores him and continues drinking. Frustrated, Simon also starts drinking heavily. Before long, both of them become completely drunk. The two drunken coworkers wander through the streets until they eventually book a hotel room together. The next morning, they both wake up completely shocked. Judging by the situation around them, it seems they spent the night together while they were drunk. Feeling embarrassed, Cece quietly leaves the room. Meanwhile, Simon hides under the blanket in embarrassment while trying to remember what happened the previous night. Outside, Cece steps into the elevator and screams loudly to release all of her frustration before leaving the people around her completely confused. Later, when they meet again at the office, the atmosphere becomes extremely awkward. Simon hesitantly asks, "Did something really happen between us?" Cece immediately replies, "If you ask me that one more time, I'll shout in front of everyone and tell them exactly what you did to me." Hearing that, Simon is instantly left speechless. Meanwhile, another shocking truth is revealed. revealed, Lu Feng's trusted assistant is actually her late sister's husband. He intentionally joined Lu Feng's company to destroy her career because he believes Lu Feng is responsible for his wife's death. In his eyes, if Lu Feng hadn't invited her sister to celebrate that birthday, she would never have gone out that day or died in the accident. He secretly tricked Lu Feng into signing several documents while pretending they were normal company paperwork. As a result, ownership of the entire company has now been legally transferred to him. When Lu Feng discovers the truth, she's completely devastated. Her brother-in-law openly admits everything. He tells her that while she was busy enjoying her married life with Ling Rui, he quietly took control of the company. With tears in her eyes, Lu Feng replies, "I never wanted my sister to die. I only wanted to spend my birthday with her. Besides, Dad always intended to give the company to my sister. Since you're her husband, you also have a right to it, so I'll willingly give the company to you." Meanwhile, Ling Rui receives an incredible opportunity. He's offered a chance to go to Germany for higher medical studies. However, he doesn't want to leave Lu Feng behind. His aunt keeps encouraging him to accept the offer because it would greatly improve his future career. That night, Ling Rui returns home and notices that Lu Feng seems unusually sad. Seeing her like that, he completely forgets about his own worries. The couple comforts each other, yet neither of them tells the truth. Lu Feng doesn't reveal that she has already lost her company. Likewise, Ling Rui doesn't mention his opportunity to study in Germany. The next day, however, Ling Rui's aunt secretly meets Lu Feng. She tells her about the Germany offer and explains that Ling Rui is only refusing it because he doesn't want to leave her. After hearing this, Lu Feng quietly makes a painful decision. She decides to divorce Ling Rui so he won't sacrifice his future because of her. That night, she acts especially romantic. The two spend a wonderful evening talking, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. They share one last beautiful night together. Then, early the next morning, while Ling Rui is still asleep, Lu Feng quietly signs the divorce papers, leaves them behind, and disappears. When Ling Rui wakes up and sees the divorce papers, he's completely heartbroken. He desperately searches for Lu Feng everywhere, but by then, she has already left the country. Unable to find her anywhere, Ling Rui breaks down in tears. Then the story suddenly jumps 6 years later. We see that Cece has become a famous novelist whose books are loved by countless readers. One day, Ping visits her to ask if she has any news about Lu Feng. Sadly, Cece reveals that she hasn't had any contact with Lu Feng for the past 6 years. It's clear that Lu Feng completely disappeared from everyone's lives. The drama then shows Lu Feng's life during those 6 years. She now has a 6-year-old son. It turns out that when she left after signing the divorce papers, she was already pregnant. Since then, she has raised her son all by herself. One day, her little boy Yo-Yo innocently asks, "Mom, when will my dad come to see me?" Holding back her emotions, Lu Feng gently replies, "When you grow up, you'll be able to meet your father." We also learn that throughout these difficult years, Lu Feng's close friend and business partner Zhao has helped her in every possible way. He treats Yo-Yo like his own son and has always stood by Lu Feng's side. Meanwhile, Zhao wants to open a branch of their company in China. However, Lu Feng has no desire to return there. On the other hand, her son has always wanted to meet his father. Without telling Lu Feng, he secretly travels to China with Zhao. When Lu Feng finds out, she immediately calls Simon and asks him to keep an eye on her son until she arrives in China. Simon agrees. But Yo-Yo's mischievous behavior soon drives him completely crazy. Not long afterward, Lu Feng also arrives in China and gently scolds her son for coming there without telling her. Later, Simon asks Lu Feng, "What do you think Ling Rui will do when he finds out he has a son?" Lu Feng sadly replies, "I don't know if he'll believe me, but Yo-Yo is really his child." Even after returning to China, Lu Feng doesn't want to meet anyone from her past. However, Ping and Cece eventually track her down. The three friends happily reunite and spend time catching up with each other. Meanwhile, we see that Ling Rui has become a professor at a medical university. After Lu Feng left him 6 years ago, he went to Germany, where he spent 3 years improving his medical skills. Now he teaches and trains young doctors. When Lu Feng learns where he's working, she secretly goes to see him. As Ling Rui walks past her, she quickly hides herself. Surprisingly, even though Ling Rui notices her, he simply walks away without saying a word. Lu Feng becomes confused. She wonders why he ignored her. Did he not recognize her? Or was he pretending not to? Even after returning home, she can't stop thinking about it. The next day, Lu Feng goes shopping. There, she unexpectedly runs into Ling Rui again. This time, Ling Rui quietly hands her a cup of coffee and simply says, "Take care of yourself." Then he calmly walks away. Lu Feng is left even more confused. He doesn't seem angry at all. Instead, he's treating her as if everything is normal. Meanwhile, Zhao is taking Yo-Yo out for a walk. During their outing, they unexpectedly run into Ling Rui. Rui. The moment Yo-Yo sees him, he excitedly runs over, shouting, "Dad! Dad!" Completely confused, Ling Rui kneels down and asks the little boy for his name and where he lives. Before Yo-Yo can explain, Zhao quickly steps in and apologizes. He tells Ling Rui that Yo-Yo is actually his own son. Hearing that, Ling Rui simply leaves without asking any more questions. After he leaves, Zhao gently explains the truth to Yo-Yo. He tells him that Ling Rui really is his father. The only reason he didn't recognize him is because he never knew his son had been born. Yo-Yo immediately says that he wants to meet his father. Zhao smiles and tells him that if he goes without Lu Feng's permission, she'll definitely scold him. He promises that when his mother decides the time is right, she'll introduce them properly. Yo-Yo happily agrees and says he'll ask his mom about it later. Meanwhile, Simon has started following Cece on social media. He discovers that the novel she wrote is actually based on their own love story. Slowly, Simon realizes how much he misses her. Unable to ignore his feelings any longer, he goes straight to Cece's house. Cece coldly asks him why he's there since they already broke up. Ignoring her question, Simon casually walks inside and says that he's free today, so he'll just stay there while she works. Cece simply ignores him and continues with her work. A little later, she gets a phone call and leaves the house to meet someone. Simon secretly follows her. Cece repeatedly tells him to stop following her, but Simon refuses to listen. Annoyed, she purposely steps on his foot with her high heels before running away. Even after that, Simon keeps following her everywhere, trying to win her heart back. Meanwhile, Lu Feng finally has some free time and decides to take Yo-Yo out for a day of fun. At the same time, Ling Rui's aunt forces him to go on a blind date. He refuses at first, but after his aunt emotionally pressures him, he reluctantly agrees. Interestingly, the woman turns out to be one of his old college friends. The two happily start catching up. Just then, Lu Feng happens to walk past the restaurant with Yo-Yo. The moment Yo-Yo spots Ling Rui, he excitedly runs toward him. He innocently asks, "Dad, what are you doing here? Mom and I are walking around by ourselves." Embarrassed, Ling Rui gently replies, "You've got the wrong person. I'm not your father." But Yo-Yo confidently says, "You don't know it yet, but you're my dad." Just then, Lu Feng arrives. Yo-Yo happily points toward Ling Rui and says, "Mom, look! Dad is sitting with another woman." Hearing the little boy call Lu Feng mom, Ling Rui is completely stunned. He immediately begins wondering if Lu Feng remarried after leaving him. Ling Rui's college friend then asks Yo-Yo how he knows Ling Rui is his father. Yo-Yo innocently replies, "Mom told me." Those simple words leave Ling Rui completely speechless. He finally realizes that he has a child. He can't help wondering, could this really be my son? Later, Lu Feng and Ling Rui talk privately. Unable to hide his emotions, Ling Rui asks, "How could you do this? Why did you keep my son away from me for all these years?" Lu Feng is left speechless. She doesn't know how to answer. Afterward, Ling Rui brings Yo-Yo back to his aunt's house. The moment his aunt sees her grandson, she finally admits the truth. With tears in her eyes, she confesses that she was the one who asked Lu Feng to divorce Ling Rui when he received the opportunity to study in Germany. Only then does Ling Rui finally understand everything. He realizes Lu Feng left him only because she wanted him to have a better future. At that moment, every bit of anger he had toward her disappears. Meanwhile, Lu Feng sits alone at home, unable to stop worrying. It's the first time her son has been away from her and she can't focus on anything, so she invites both Cece and Ping over. After listening to everything, they gently explain that Yo-Yo needs both his mother and his father. They tell Lu Feng that she also can't live happily without her son. Finally, they encourage her to clear up all the misunderstandings with Ling Rui and become a family again. That way, Yo-Yo will finally receive his father's love, and both Lu Feng and Ling Rui can live happily together once more. The very next day, just as her friend suggested, Lu Ping goes to meet Ling Rao. Meanwhile, Ling Rao proudly introduces Yo-Yo to everyone at the hospital, saying, "This is my son." Yo-Yo is extremely happy to finally be spending time with his father. Later, Lu Ping asks Ling Rao to come outside and says, "I can't live without my son, and Yo-Yo also wants to stay with his father. So I'm requesting you, why don't you come and live with us? That way, Yo-Yo can stay happy with both of us." Hearing this, Ling Rao becomes overjoyed because all he ever wanted was to get Lu Ping back. That night, Ling Rao sleeps beside Yo-Yo. Meanwhile, Lu Ping can't fall asleep, so she quietly comes to check on them. Seeing the adorable father and son sleeping together fills her heart with happiness. She quietly walks away, but after she leaves, Ling Rao steps outside. Standing there, he remembers how his life was 6 years ago after Lu Ping left him. Back then, he was completely heartbroken. He cried every day and drowned himself in alcohol just to forget the pain. Then he walks into Lu Ping's room and realizes that she must have suffered just as much as he did. He finally understands that she left him only for his future. Thinking about everything she sacrificed, he can't stop himself from crying. The next day, Lu Ping and Ling Rao attend a party with all of their friends. During the party, both of them drink quite a lot, and Lu Ping gets completely drunk. She asks Ling Rao, "How are you still perfectly fine after drinking so much?" Ling Rao smiles sadly and replies, "After you left me, I drank far more than this every single day, so this amount doesn't affect me anymore." Hearing that makes Lu Ping feel guilty. She tells him that she doesn't want him to live alone anymore. She says he should get married because no matter who he marries, Yo-Yo will still love him. Ling Rao looks straight into her eyes and asks, "Don't you want to be the one who stays with me? Can't we fix everything and go back to the way we were?" Before Lu Ping can answer, her drunken state makes her freeze, and Ling Rao gently kisses her. Later that night, after returning home, Lu Ping keeps thinking about the kiss. She wonders if Ling Rao has finally accepted her again, and whether they can truly become a family once more. Just thinking about it makes her incredibly happy. Meanwhile, Ling Rao lovingly puts Yo-Yo to sleep and spends the night taking care of his son. On the other hand, Cece discovers that the faucet in her bathroom has broken. She tries to find a plumber but can't get one, leaving her worried. Just then, Simon arrives at her house. Cece asks whether he knows how to repair a faucet. Wanting to impress her, Simon confidently says yes, even though he has absolutely no idea what he's doing. As a result, he ends up getting completely soaked. Since he is wearing only a thin shirt, his muscular body becomes clearly visible. Seeing this makes Cece feel shy and flustered. She quickly tries to walk away but accidentally slips on the wet floor. Thankfully, Simon catches her before she falls. The two end up standing extremely close to each other, making Cece blush even more. Embarrassed, she quickly returns to her desk and starts writing her novel. She even adds this exact romantic moment into her story. Meanwhile, Simon hurts his waist while fixing the faucet. He can barely walk, but he somehow manages to repair it before leaving. After finishing her writing, Cece realizes Simon has already left and feels strangely disappointed. Now we see Lu Ping and Ling Rao happily spending time together. They hug each other, share sweet kisses, and enjoy romantic moments together. Along with Yo-Yo, the three of them finally begin living like a real family, happily eating meals together. Meanwhile, Cece realizes that if Simon stayed by her side, she'd finally be able to finish her novel properly. So she goes to visit him at his house. When she arrives, she finds Simon barely able to move because of his injured waist. Feeling concerned, she takes care of him, cooks food for him, and even feeds him herself. Then she jokingly says, "You're getting old now, you need someone to take care of you. Maybe it's time you got married." Simon simply smiles without saying anything. Later, Cece continues writing while sitting beside him. Simon quietly watches her and secretly reads the story she's writing. He realizes that she's beautifully rewritten their own love story into a novel. Seeing that makes him genuinely happy. After a while, Cece notices that Simon has fallen asleep. She quietly walks closer and carefully looks at his face. Suddenly, Simon opens his eyes, pulls her toward him, and kisses her. Cece's heart immediately softens. She tries to move away, but Simon keeps pulling her into his arms because he doesn't want to let her go. Realizing where things are heading, Cece quickly escapes and says, "I've already made one mistake before, I'm not making the same mistake again." On the other hand, Lu Ping finally agrees to start her business in China. She rents a new shop and later discovers that the actual owner of the building is her sister's husband. She thinks he probably won't cause any problems, so she decides to rent it anyway. However, while decorating the shop, a group of thugs suddenly arrives and completely destroys the place. They smash furniture and ruin everything inside. As soon as Lu Ping sees the damaged shop, she immediately goes to confront her brother-in-law. She angrily asks why he did such a thing. She reminds him that she already gave him the company he wanted, but she won't tolerate him hurting innocent people just to get revenge on her. She also tells him that she isn't running the business alone because she has a business partner. By attacking the shop, he's hurting that person as well. Finally, she warns him, "If something like this happens again, I'll forget that you're my brother-in-law and report you to the police." After Lu Ping leaves, her brother-in-law is left completely confused because he insists he never ordered the attack. He starts wondering who could actually be behind it. Later, Lu Ping and Ling Rao spend some quiet time together. They promise each other that from now on, they'll never hide the truth again. Ling Rao tells her that this time he doesn't want a contract marriage. He wants to marry her properly because they truly love each other. Then he sincerely proposes to Lu Ping. At first, Lu Ping doesn't answer anything. As Ling Rao starts walking away, she suddenly runs after him, hugs him tightly from behind, and softly says, "I love you too." Hearing those words makes Ling Rao happier than ever. For the first time, both of them openly confess their true feelings and happily share a passionate kiss. Just then, Yo-Yo unexpectedly walks in and catches them. He quickly covers his eyes and innocently says, "I didn't see anything." Then he secretly peeks at his parents, smiling as he watches them being romantic together. Later, Ling Rao remembers that the next day is Lu Ping's birthday. He starts thinking about the perfect way to surprise her. To plan everything, he meets Simon and his friends. Together, they decide that Ling Rao should officially propose to Lu Ping on her birthday. Meanwhile, Lu Ping's brother-in-law finally discovers that the people who attacked Lu Ping's shop were actually connected to someone working inside his own company. After learning the truth, Lu Ping's brother-in-law immediately reports both the employee responsible and the hired thugs to the police. When Lu Ping hears about this, she realizes that her brother-in-law was actually innocent all along. She feels extremely guilty and says, "I blamed him without even knowing the truth." When she tells Ling Rao everything, he decides to invite her brother-in-law to Lu Ping's birthday celebration. Meanwhile, Simon waits for Cece with a bouquet of flowers. To make sure she can easily find him, he stands in the middle of the street under the pouring rain instead of taking shelter. When Cece arrives, she asks, "Why are you standing in the rain?" Simon smiles and replies, "If I left this spot, you might not be able to find me." Hearing that melts Cece's heart. She kisses Simon once again, and all of their old feelings come rushing back. At that moment, the two of them finally get back together. Now we see Lu Ping's birthday celebration. The entire family and all of their friends secretly prepare a surprise party for her. Everyone hides underneath the tables, waiting for the perfect moment. When Lu Ping and Ling Rao arrive, they notice that all the lights are turned off. They become confused and wonder why everything is so dark. Just then, everyone hiding under the tables starts moving at the same time, because they all want to be the first to surprise Lu Ping. Some crawl forward while others try to move back, creating complete chaos. In the process, the food placed on top of the tables falls onto the floor. Watching the hilarious scene makes both Lu Ping and Ling Rao burst into laughter. They tell everyone to come out, and one by one, all of their friends and family appear and wish Lu Ping a happy birthday. Her brother warmly hugs her for the very first time and wishes her a happy birthday. Ever since their older sister passed away, the family had never celebrated Lu Ping's birthday again. Soon after, Lu Ping's father arrives along with her stepmother. For the first time in her life, Lu Ping calls her stepmother Mom and hugs her tightly. Hearing those words fills her stepmother with happiness. Just then, her brother-in-law arrives. The moment everyone sees him, Pink, Cece, and Lu Ping's brother jokingly start teasing him. They ask, "Why did you come empty-handed? You have so many sisters-in-law. Did you forget about all of us?" Although he smiles for a moment, deep inside he's still heartbroken. Everyone around him is happily celebrating, but the woman he truly loved is no longer there. So he quietly sits alone, watching everyone with tears in his eyes. At that moment, he imagines seeing Lu Ping's late sister standing beside him. She gently smiles and says, "Look how happy everyone is. This is exactly what I always wished for. Seeing our family smiling together makes me happier than anything." She also tells him, "Yo-Yo is my little sister's son, so love him as if he were your own child." After saying those words, she slowly disappears. Finally understanding her true wish, Lu Ping's brother-in-law breaks down in tears as Yo-Yo lovingly hugs him. It becomes one of the most emotional moments in the entire story. Meanwhile, Lu Ping is also thinking about her late sister. Suddenly, she imagines her sister appearing before her as well. Her sister gently tells her, "I didn't die because of you, so never blame yourself." She continues, "I left my family behind to chase my own dreams, and that's why everything happened the way it did. Back then, I didn't realize how precious my family truly was." Then she says, "Never think that my death was your fault. Today, seeing our whole family together and smiling is enough to make me happy." After saying that, she disappears. Just then, Ling Rao arrives and comforts Lu Ping as she quietly cries. Meanwhile, Lu Ping's parents are overjoyed to see their family reunited once again. A little later, while searching for Ling Rao, Lu Ping walks into a beautiful garden. There, she finds countless photographs of the two of them, from their childhood all the way to the present day, beautifully displayed everywhere. As she looks at each picture, all of their precious memories come flooding back, making her smile through her tears. Just then, Ling Rao walks toward her, kneels down on one knee, and proposes to her once again. This time, Lu Ping happily says yes. She then takes out the ring she has been keeping all these years and says, "I never wanted to leave you. I've always loved you." Smiling, she wears both rings and says, "Now I'll wear 2 rings. One was given to me by my boyfriend and the other by my husband." After that, the two of them share another heartfelt kiss. In the next scene, Lu Ping is decorating her shop when someone arrives and hands her an envelope. Inside, she discovers that her brother-in-law has officially returned the company to her. Surprised, Lu Ping immediately goes outside to thank him and asks why he made that decision. He replies, "I didn't do it for you. I did it for Yo-Yo. I want him to grow up and become a great businessman." Then he smiles and says, "As for me, I'm finally going to fulfill my childhood dream of traveling around the world." After saying goodbye, he walks away, while Lu Ping sincerely thanks him. In the end, she finally gets her company back. Meanwhile, Simon and Cece decide that it's finally time for them to get married. They happily begin planning their future together. Finally, we see Ling Rao, Lu Ping, and little Yo-Yo living happily together as one loving family. With everyone finding happiness and love, the drama comes to a heartwarming, happy ending. So friends, I hope you really enjoyed the story of this drama. I'll be back very soon with another interesting drama recap. Until then, take care and bye-bye!